is heavy. Okay guys, we'll continuing on this blacksmithing series. So starting out in blacksmithing, getting set up on a budget. Today we're looking at the anvil. It's just arrived, so we're going to be setting this up. We have to dress the anvil, put it on an anvil stand and actually test it out. Now, this one was sent to me just like the burner was, so this was sent to me by Vevor. This is a London pattern anvil. It's 110 pounds or 50 kilos. So, you know, for starting out, I think it's a decent size anvil. So we'll test the hardness of this. Like I said, we'll get it mounted, we'll dress it to where we need to, and we'll start hitting some hot metal. Let's do it. Okay, very quickly just run through this anvil. I'll give you guys some dimensions on it just so you know. Like I said, it's the 50 kilo or 110 pound one. The total length of it is 570 millimeters. It's about 22.5 inches. The work surface is 335 mil, which is just over 13 inches, and the width then is about 95 millimeters, just under 4 inches, and the hardy hole then is about 30 millimeters square, and that is about 1.25 inches, and the pritchel hole then is about 12 mil, so about a 1/2 inch pritchel hole as well. Now, I've seen multiple reviews of these things by actual blacksmiths. They're all pretty impressed with them. For the price, starting out, these Vevor anvils seem to be really, really good. Now, I want to test the hardness of these. So, I have some Rockwell hardness testers. So these are foils. These are made in Japan, and they give you a rough indication of the Rockwell hardness of metals. So, get you for a closer look and we'll test it out. Okay guys, we'll just test this out with the Rockwell hardness foils. Now, a decent anvil above 50 Rockwell is what you need for the surface of an anvil. So here's 45. Now these should skate across and shouldn't bite in. And you can see that foil is not leaving any marks. You can hear it skating across. So that's the 45 Rockwell. Here's the 50 Rockwell. And that one is also skating across. So it's above 50 Rockwell, which is good. That's exactly what you want. And you can see it's not marking that anvil anywhere. Now here's the 55 Rockwell. Okay. That is just starting to bite in. So we know it's it's actually skating on the back here. It's still skating there. Maybe just starting to bite on the edge. So, actually, yeah, that's still skating across that anvil. So it's actually above 55 Rockwell according to that. Now here's the 60 Rockwell. I'm expecting this one to bite in. Yeah, okay. That is starting to bite into the anvil there now. Okay, so somewhere between 55 and 60 Rockwell is the top of that. Now these are only rough indications, so it gives you a range, but we can say with confidence it's well above 50 Rockwell, which is good for an anvil. A premium anvil will be between 55 and 60. This one seems to be at 55. Still skating. It's definitely under 60. We don't want to be too hard because then it'll become brittle. Okay, so initial impressions on this anvil are pretty good. From what I can see out of the box, looks nicely cast. It is cast steel, it's not forged. And yeah, the casting even seems to be pretty nice. Now I have some tools here as well. I bought some secondhand, some well-used blacksmith's tools. I'll show you that throughout the course of the video as well. But now we want to get this thing mounted. So let's build a base for it. Okay, so in order to build this base, we need to set the height of our anvil. Now, from what I understand, and from all the research I've been doing on blacksmithing, I've been watching and reading a lot about blacksmithing lately, and from what I understand is you measure your hand at rest, so your knuckles, where your knuckles are at rest, that's the height of your anvil. That's what they say. So for me, that's 3 feet or over 900 millimeters, about 920 mil, just about 3 feet. So that's what I think we'll do. We'll keep our anvil, the top of our anvil is going to be 920 millimeters, or bang on 3 foot. And yeah, so we can take the height of our anvil from that, and that will give us the height that we need to make our stand. Nice and simple. Okay, to mount the anvil then I'm going to be using these. These are some sleepers that I had left over from a garden project. So these are 8 inches by 4 inches or 200 by 100 millimeters. Nice and meaty. We want our base to be beefy. We want it to be a solid mass so that when we strike that anvil, all that energy is going into the piece that we're hitting. We're not losing it down into the floor. It's all coming back up again. And it also helps the anvil to stay quiet. If we can really lock it and bolt it down to something solid, it would be really beneficial. So that's what we're going to be using. I'm going to chop this up now to the height that's required. Okay guys, we have 8 pieces. That's going to be our anvil stand. Now I'm going to glue all this together and then I'm going to bolt it all together. So I'm going to drill through the 12mm auger bit. That's the longest auger bit I have. And I'm going to put 10mm threaded rod straight through the whole lot. And we're going to bolt it either side. So we'll countersink both sides. Then I'm going to drill straight through, line up all these holes and drill them one at a time. And we'll get out the far side. Not ideal, but it'll absolutely work. I'll make sure we're drilling perpendicular to the face, and we'll use each one as a guide for the next one. Okay, I'm just going to use the laser. That'll give me a line straight down through all these blocks. So on the 2 outside ones, I'm going to drill with a Forstner bit, and that's just to countersink the washer and the nut. You know, the laser will give me a good indication of whether I'm going straight or not. So make sure we're staying in line with that. Give me enough depth for my nut and my washer. Yep. And it's just a case of drill straight down. And use my hole as the guide all the way down. Okay, that's the last one. How well did we do? Yeah, not too bad. We are out through the hole. And we're just about center. So that will be good enough. Okay guys, I'm just going to glue these all together. I've just drilled oversized holes through most of them, just to allow for any discrepancy. So a bit of glue. And it's just a case of clamp it all together. Let's make sure everything is lined up. It's looking good on top. It's looking quite good on the bottom too. Right guys, there we go. One beefy, heavy anvil stand. Now, I've just glued both of those 2 sections together, and I will drive rods that way when that's all set up in the morning. So we have 4 rods going this way, we will have 4 rods going that way. And the way I did it, you know, it was accurate enough. It didn't need to be too accurate. That method that I used, I drilled oversized holes. So I used 10mm rod. I drilled 18mm holes through the center timbers. So that gave me plenty of scope if I was slightly off with my eyeballing of my drill bit going through. So close enough, good enough. Give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. Use large body washers on the outside to catch that hole, and you are good to go. So yeah, we'll let that set up tonight now, and we'll get back to this tomorrow. Right guys, it's all glued up, ready to go. Now, rather than driving more bolts through it, I thought what I would do is wrap it in a steel band instead, top and bottom. That will cover those holes. So I have some 40mm by 6mm steel here, some mild steel, and we'll make a nice band to go top and bottom. And we'll coach both it in place. Now I apologise for the rain noise, there's nothing I can do about it. We're going through a period of unbelievable rain the last few months, and this project has to proceed, so let's crack on. Okay guys, the anvil stand is now wrapped. Now I've had an absolute nightmare. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. I broke bits, I knocked over my camera, I smashed the lens, so you can probably see an artifact down this end of the screen. That's a bloody cracked lens, so absolute nightmare. But it's done. The steel was probably a bit heavy. I could have used 4mm steel. That's 1/4 inch or 6mm steel. So, you know, it's way overkill, but this thing is never ever coming back apart again. It's well bolted together now. I've just covered everything with linseed oil, the metal and the wood. And yeah, so it looks quite good. I like the steel band, it looks good. I can weld all my hammer loops to that now and hang my tools off it. So that'll be a job to be done later on. But now we have to get the anvil mounted. Okay guys, I've just routed out the footprint of the anvil to help it sit down onto this top. Now how we mount this anvil is going to depend on how noisy it is. So I want to stop the ringing as much as possible, so we've got to really pin this down. You can really hear how much it rings back here. Now you can do things like add magnets. So if I add a magnet there, as you can see, really quietens it down. So what we're going to do is put this on a bed of silicone and we're going to bolt it down to this stand. That will help with some of the noise. I see some people wrap it with chains. We might try that as well. And people also stick magnets to it just to deaden the sound a small bit, because like I said, it can get very loud. So silicone. Alright guys, we're going to pump in a load of silicone into this. So don't be shy with it. The best part of a tube of silicone. And that's it, gone. I'll drop our anvil on top of that then. Okay, just with the silicone and nothing else, have a listen to the difference. So even back here, that has completely deadened that anvil. So you can see the importance of fixing this to its base. And that silicone really stops the anvil from ringing. Okay, in order to pin my anvil down, I'm just going to use long coach bolts and uni strut. So I'm just going to drill a couple of holes at an angle here and drive these in. Okay guys, now I have to dress the anvil. So they come with a very, very sharp edge on them, obviously out of just being casted. So we got to round over the edge. Now, what a lot of people do is they'll round over this portion of the edge on both sides a little bit more aggressively, and then just put a slight round over on this, just to stop any metal splitting off and just to have a round area to work. Now, I'm going to go take a little bit off. I've already done it here, just using a flapper disc on the grinder. It's easier to remove material than it is to add material. So start with a small round, and if you feel like you need to round it some more, you can as you go on. I'm just going to dress the horn a small bit more, and then we have to do around the hardy hole as well and the pritchel hole as well, just to dress those edges, stop them chipping out. So let's get on and do it. There you go guys, just clean up the hardy hole and the pritchel hole a small bit, just broke over those sharp edges, so you know nothing will ever get cracked off. So just rounded them over. That's good to go. Hey guys, I am hitting my first hot metal on an anvil. I'm just practicing drawing out a point. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with the anvil. It's holding up really, really well. Now, obviously I need countless hours of practice. But it's nice and good, and the anvil is nice and quiet. It's not very loud at all, so I'm not going to disturb the neighbours too much. Right guys, there we go. We will leave it there for this video. So that is the Vevor 110 pound or 50 kilo anvil, the London pattern one. For the money guys, I'm pretty impressed with it. I've just beaten on that for a while now, and it hasn't put any dents in the top of that anvil, which is great. Really happy with the anvil stand as well. Turned out fantastic. Nice and quiet anvil now as well, and a good solid base. Now, I have loads of projects coming up. I want to put a lean-to on the side of this shed because I want to move that gas forge outside the shed when I'm using it. That produces a lot of carbon monoxide. Just be very careful guys if you're getting into blacksmithing and you're going to run a gas forge. All of them will produce carbon monoxide. So I have extra carbon monoxide alarms in here now. I've got fire extinguishers and blankets all over the workshop, that kind of thing. But when I'm forging, I would just want that to be outside the door. Make sure you have plenty of ventilation and plenty of fans running. That's just a safety tip I'll give you guys. But yeah, I'm really happy with that anvil. I'm really happy with my anvil stand. And I'm going to crack on blacksmithing. Till the next one guys, take it easy, mind yourselves. I need to go get a new camera now because I finished this video with a completely smashed lens. Nice.